Hey everybody, how's it going? This is going to be a ramble unboxing video for the Warhammer 40k paint set and showing you some other paints on top of that, but mostly on this paint set. Now I like this paint set, to just say it starting off. I like it because it's got Dark Angels as the Space Marines represented, and it can help bolster out my force. It's following the trend of the paint set that was prior to this one, which was Ultramarines with sculpted shoulder pads. And as much as I like the sculpted shoulder pads here, being on the Dark Angels, I think if they give you a decal sheet and just go over how to use decals real quick in their painting guide that comes with this, you would see an increase in people who don't play Dark Angels picking up this set. Because sure, the paints here are geared towards painting Dark Angels, but that was the same way in 4th edition with Battle from a Crash. That had a paint set, but it came with decals. So, sure, it's meant to be painted up as Ultramarines, and the paints that are included are for Ultramarine colors. But you could take those paints and still paint it up differently. It came with some red, so you can use that red to make Blood Angels, for example. And the same thing could have been done here. You got red, you can make Blood Angels. You got black, you can make Black Templars. You got some Lead Belcher, which is like bulk of metal, and the black, so you can do Iron Hands. It's just some examples of some chapters you could do for with what comes in here. You could even do, because they give you Ushafti Bone, which is kind of like a bleach bone. You could even do Blood Ravens. It may be a bit of a bright red, but you could do it if you wanted to. And then, of course, you can mix paints together to get kind of a shade you want. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'm not holding it against this paint set because this is the trend they're going with, but it's to paint up Dark Angels. Now, one thing with this paint set, and actually I'll get to that when I talk about the painting guide a little bit. But firstly, I want to say before opening it up, or at least taking the box off and showing you what's inside, it's my assumption and my own, I guess, hypothesis, if you will, that paint sets reflect and are associated with their respective starter sets. Battle from a Crash in 4th edition had a paint set for Ultramarines because it was Ultramarines versus Tyranids. Then you have Assault on Blackreach, which is Ultramarines versus Orcs, and that had a paint set of Ultramarines. Now you have this paint set with Dark Angels on it, which is great. I love Dark Angels. So you have that, and you have the White Dwarf spine art showing a Dark Angel guy, some artwork for a Dark Angel. And if you have those two ideas in your head, plus the rumors you've been hearing on the web, which I always take every rumor with a big grain of salt, and pretty much I don't listen to it until I start getting some hardline evidence. Dark Angels are a buzz in the rumor mill. And one of the rumors is Dark Angels are going to be part of the starter set. It's going to be Dark Angels versus Chaos. And if that is true for 6th edition, then this paint set would make a lot of sense, because this paint set is currently not associated with anything. But if it is going to be associated with the starter set, then clearly it would have Dark Angels in it, first thing, whatever. So, just my own little 2 cents, my own little thought there is that, perhaps we are seeing what one of the sides in the starter set already with these models. Anyway, open it up. This is what we got. So this is the painting guide I was talking about. Now this painting guide is kind of not that good. If you're brand new, I guess it's something. It gives you some writing here in multiple languages, which is nice. Some tips on tools you'll need, how to assemble and paint your models, and how to read or navigate their painting guide. And as you can see, the painting guide is pretty much a little picture, a close-up picture with the color you're going to use, and then all the reference pictures of the model in that color up to that step. So you kind of have to reference the page, or at least the picture, get the appropriate paint, and paint it up accordingly. So I don't know how I feel about that exactly. It would have been nicer if they would with a little bit of writing, but it's not that hard to follow. You just gotta match the colors and paint them accordingly, and paint them up like they have them paint them up. One thing I have to say though, Abaddon Black you get Imperial Primer to use as your base, so that's one thing. Second thing is, you see these guys have paint up white shoulder pads, markings on there. The chapter symbol, which is supposed to be white. And then you have the tactical marking, which is white. And I don't know why they did white on these guys with that. If you're a Dark Angel fan, you know that they have red tactical markings. They've had it for as long as I can remember. Red tactical markings. So I don't know if this is a hint of some massive artistic change that's coming for the Dark Angels in 6th edition, or if it's just the way they did it for whatever reason. But even still, it references the paint White Scar, which you do not get in this paint set. So it's kind of unfortunate that they do that. That means in order to finish these models off as they show you, you need to pick up another paint White Scar, which, to be honest, is probably a paint you're going to be picking up anyway, but still, it would be cool if that was included. Maybe it was meant to be, and it just isn't. You know, maybe they include another paint in its place. But, anyways, one thing I do like is, when you look at the model completed, you see the base is not based or anything, it's just painted. And you see the camera refusing to focus. There we go. And you see the model doesn't look shaded or anything, it's just the green and very basic. I actually like that because they didn't go back and touch up the models to make you think you're going to make this fantastic model if you're brand new with the paints provided. You're not. I mean, it's going to look fine, but it's not going to be some crazy heavy metal looking thing, so I like that they kept it like that. Anyway, speaking of that, we get bases, which are slotted. We get a starter brush, nothing fancy. And we have these models, these snap fit models, which are very similar to the snap fit models for the Ultramarines, only with Dark Angel iconography on the shoulder pads. We get tactical marking, and we get the Dark Angel symbol. They have a slotted base because they have slotted feet, basically. They have a little bit of plastic here to slot into. Why? Well, these are snap fit models. Basically, you can assemble these guys and attach them to the base without needing any glue. Now, if you're not new to the game and you're getting these guys to bolster your forces, which is the reason I got them, I'm going to cut this little plastic tab on the bottom off so I can put them on any base I want. But you don't have to use any glue to assemble these models and attach them to the base. So that's kind of cool. And then we have the paints. So we have Mephiston Red. If I can get it out. There we go. Which is a base. As you can see, it says it on the pot right there. Then we have Imperial Primer. In place of Abaddon Black, you got Imperial Primer. Here, which is just, it says technical paint because it's not part of the base range or anything like that. It's specifically formulated to be a primer. And then we have a shade, which is like basically a wash. It's Agras Earth Shade. The shades and the glazes will have a black top to them. We have a layer paint through Shopti Bone. We have another layer paint of Uthuan Grey. And I'm thinking that for whatever reason this was put in here instead of White Scar. You have Caliban Green, which is a replacement Dark Angel's green color in the new range. You have a Lead Belcher, which is replacement Bullcum Metal. And this is a base as well, so we have base, base, base. And this is another base. This is Mornfang Brown. Now those are all the paints you get, and this can be kind of like a little palette if you want to use it as a palette. And that's the kit. Overall, I think it's a handy little kit to have. It's not that bad of a kit. It shows I wish that they included the White Scar paint instead of the Uthuan Grey, so you could do the white appropriately, but without having to buy anything. But you know, whatever. You're still getting 8 full pots, because in the previous paint set you got what I call sampler pots. They're smaller, little like snap open, close type of like sampler paints, if you will. You got the paints you needed, but it wasn't of a great quantity. They run out pretty quick, and overall it wasn't actually a pot of paint. It was like a little sampler thing. So you get full-on pots here, which is pretty cool. So if you're a Dark Angel fan, I would suggest picking it up. I mean, you're going to have paints ready to paint up Dark Angels. You don't have to worry about that too much. And they will bolster out your force. I mean, these snap fit models are of good quality. You know, look at them; they're of good quality model. Like, you don't have much detail on the chest, sure, when it comes to here, but you're gonna have a weapon over it, and it's gonna have a shoulder pad on here. You can use glue if you want to. In this case, maybe do a little bit of green stuffing to fill in some gaps if you're getting really super into it, if you wanted to. But they'll definitely fit alongside other just regular Ultramarines and fit right in. So that's the starter set. I think it's pretty cool. But I want to end not on this, but I want to show you guys something else that I also picked up. Here, I don't have them laid out, I think, in the correct order at all, but here is a set of paints, and you can buy the paints like this now. You can buy them one at a time, or you can buy them in sets like this. And what you have here is all the paints you would need to paint up Dark Angels in their green armor color. They do this for Ultramarines, Blood Angels. They do it for like doing bone, or doing browns, or doing black armor, stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Now, of course, you don't have to buy all these paints to paint up Dark Angels. I mean, I use 3 colors right now, and a wash, and that's it. So I don't really need to go on to 6. I don't have to do that. But you could easily just pick up the base color and then get 1 or 2 colors to shade upwards, and maybe with some white or whatever to get it brighter. So this isn't a necessity. It's just a nice convenience to get all these paints in one go. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get the paint set for it, because why not? That's what they're suggesting. I use Citadel paints, and I figured, you know what, let me get all the paints that they suggest to the green. That way I have a slightly easier time when it comes to doing a new Let's Make a Model for Dark Angels, which I said I would, with the new paints. So you get Caliban Green as your base. You get a shade of Bealtan Green. Then you get Warpstone Glow layer paint. Then you get Moot Green as a layer paint. Then you get this dry brushing paint compound, Underhive Ash. And then you get a glaze of Waywatcher Green. Now, I'm a little confused on why you get Underhive Ash. It's not green at all, as you can tell. My thought process is, what you're going to do is get a very light amount on your paintbrush after you get it ready for dry brushing. A very light amount of dry brushing over the model to just touch upon the raised edges to make it super bright in that way, because it's not green at all. It's kind of like a bleached bone color. And then when you glaze over it, the glaze will kind of dye this color to kind of a greenish color to complement the rest, and also, match it in with the rest of your armor, because the glazes kind of do that a bit. So that's my thought process there. I could be wrong. I don't know. So if anybody has a clue onto why I have Underhive Ash, not hash, but Underhive Ash here, let me know, because that's what I just picked the Dark Angel set and bought it that way because I was curious. Doing it for you guys so I can figure out how to do a decent looking Dark Angel with the new paints, and then share it with you on a new Let's Make a Model, which will happen at some point in the future. Not right away, because I'm doing other models right now, at least working on wise. But who knows? Maybe sooner rather than later, depending on how quick I figure out how to get the Dark Angel to look cool and match my forces. So yeah, leave a comment if you have any idea of what the Underhive Ash is for in painting up Dark Angel's green color scheme. And that was a look at some paints, and of course the bulk of it was the paint set. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed, and until next time, take it easy.